All right, for 25, you set up, like I showed you in class in the examples, the angle they give you, you put on the left side here as a base. The side opposite is 18, call that one side 1. And then the other side that they give you, place it here along this side, which is side 2. Because this is an acute angle here, less than 90, we draw the H, and we compare the H with side 1. So here's H right here, 20 sine 76, and it's 19.4. So this is longer than this. So what does that tell you? That as you spin this over here, it's not going to reach this side right here at all. It's too short. So you have no triangle. For 27, you have an obtuse angle, 120. This side and this side are equal. So that means that when this one swings over, it's going to land right here. So it's going to just be an angle. It's not going to be a triangle. So here you have no triangle because of this. Alright, so 29, it's actually the example in your book, in your notebook. But anyway, I'll go through it again. You have the angle here that they give you, and the side opposite, that's side 1. And side 2 is the other side that they give you, and I always label it on this side. Okay, so because this is an acute angle, and this is smaller than this, I've got to look at H. So here's H, right here. It's 10.855, and since H is smaller than this one, then I know that there's two triangles, because side 1 length is between, like this, is between the height and side 2. So that's why you have two triangles. Okay, so we're going to set it up. I could put it up here. Triangle 1, triangle 2. We're missing angle B and B2. We need C1, the angle C1 and angle C2. And we need little c1 and little c2, which are the sides, okay? Okay, so the first thing we do is look for side, sorry, not side, but angle B, because we have opposites here, and we have this side, and we could find this angle right here. So here's the setup, here's the proportion, cross multiply, so there's your 11.4 sine B1 equals 12.8 sine 58, divide by 11.4, put this into the calculator and you get this. Inverse sine, because you're looking for the angle B, and that's what you get right here. Now, remember, sine is positive both here and here. The calculator gives you this answer right here, but you know that this angle is congruent to this angle. So these two angles right here, this angle and this angle, are congruent. So we need to find this angle. Well, knowing that this and this are congruent, then to get this angle, all you have to do is find the supplement of this angle. Okay, because to find this one, you subtract 180 minus this, and you get the red angle. So that's what we'll do here. For C1, oops, it's 180. Oh, I'm sorry, take it back. For that's how you get B2. So here, and I forgot. I already had it right here. So B2 is 180 minus 7221, and there's the answer right there. And so we're just going to write them over here. So 7221 goes here. 107.71 goes here. Now to find angle C, both C1 and C2, should be a 2 right there. C1 and C2, you add the two angles and subtract from 180. So you add, for C1, you take 180 minus the sum of 58 and 7221. Okay, when you add those together, you get, that's 58, 120, 130, 1021. Subtract that from 180. Okay, and you get 49.79. So here you have it, 49.79. You subtract 130.21 from 180. To get angle 2C2, you do the same thing. You take 180 minus the sum of 58, which is over here on this side, and then B2, which is 107.71. So you add those together, you get 165.71, subtract it from 180, and you get 14.21. So I'm going to put that here. So now all we're missing now are the two sides for the two triangles. The third side for both the green triangle and the red triangle. So let me just set it up, move this up a little bit. So you're going to do 11, well, let me just set it up like this first. So C1 over sine of 49.79 equals 11.4 over sine 58. And then C2, we're going to do the same thing. C2 over sine of 14.21 equals 11.4 over sine of 58. Okay, so we cross multiply here and here, cross multiply here and here, and so you end up with C1 equals 11.4 sine 49.79 over sine 58, and then C2 equals 11.4 sine 14.21 over sine 58. Put those into the calculator, and for C1, when you put that into the calculator, you get 1027, and for C2, you get 3.30. You have to keep the 0 because we're rounding to 2 decimal places, so don't think, oh, that you can just cancel out the 0. You have to include it. Okay, with an acute angle, the only way to get one triangle is if this side is longer than this side. So that means that B has to be, or it could be equal to, because if this is 5 and this is 5, then you have an isosceles triangle. So that's where this comes in. The other way that you could get one triangle is if this is the right triangle, right? If this 5 comes down here like I drew over here on this side. If this 5 comes straight down like that, then that's one triangle. Now how do you get that? If I set it up right here, sine 36 of theta is 5 over b. Again, assuming that 5 is perpendicular to the base. That would be a right triangle. So you solve for b and you get this. So these two conditions here make it so that you get one triangle. Okay? Let me go over to C. How do you get no triangle? You get no triangle if this side right here is longer than what would make it a right triangle. So if like this would make it a right triangle, right? If this side got longer, then this 5 would be too short to reach this side. So for 0 triangles, you would have b greater than this, because this is what would make it a right triangle. Now for 2 triangles, of course b has to be bigger than 5, but not so big that it creates no triangle. That's why you have to have this upper bound. So b is between 5 and 5 over sine 36. 33 is similar to 31. You have an acute angle, and they gave you this side opposite it, 10.8, and then this is b. This is what they're asking about. So I went ahead and I calculated it so that to find b, assuming that 10.8 is perpendicular to the base, so I'm treating it like a right triangle. So sine of 10 is 10.8 over b. I solve for b, cross multiply, solve for b, and I got this for b. So if b equals this, then it's a right triangle. So what would give you one triangle? Well, first, for starters, if b equals this amount, then I know it's a right triangle. Okay? The other way that you get one triangle is if b is less than or equal to 10.8. So if this side is 10.8 or smaller, then you get one triangle. Over here I'll go to C. To get 0 triangles, remember this is what makes, if b is this length, that makes 10.8 go straight down, okay, perpendicular to the base. So if b is any bigger than this, then 10.8 will not reach the third side, the base. So if b is bigger than this ratio, then you get no triangles. Okay? For 2 triangles, b has to be bigger than 10.8, but not so big that it creates no triangles. So that's why you have b in between 10.8 and this ratio. Okay, so here's the picture. You've got the flagpole right here. This angle is 12 degrees. That's the angle that it makes with the horizontal, this ramp right here. Now the sun's over here, and it's creating a shadow that is 16 meters long going up the hill. This angle right here is 20 degrees because it's the angle of elevation from the tip of the flag to the sun. So this is 20. So the dotted line means it's parallel to the ground. Okay, and because this is perpendicular to the ground, this is parallel, that makes this a right angle. So if this is 20, then this has to be 70 right here. Okay, so now I have opposites. I have 70 and 16 meters. I noticed for this triangle right here, for this angle right here, I drew the parallel to the ground right here. So remember from geometry, when you have 2 parallels and the transversal that cuts the 2 parallels, then this angle and this angle are congruent. Also, this one and this one are parallel. This is a transversal, so alternate interior angles are congruent. So if this is 12, this has to be 12. So combined, that's 32 degrees. So I can set up x over sine 32 equals 16 over sine 70. Cross multiply, and I get this equation right here. Divide by sine 70, so I get x equals this. Plug it into a calculator, and you get this. Okay, so the black measurements are what were given in the original drawing. This being 65, this 80, this 30 kilometers, this 70 right here. Okay, so this angle right here is simply just 80 minus 65, that gives you 15. This 65 is because this and this are parallel, and so if this is 65, this has to be 65 because this is a transversal. And then this angle right here, since I already know this is 135 and this is 15, I subtracted from 180. I add it up and subtract from 180, I get 30. So now I have all the measurements that I need. I set up the proportions right here for the law of sines. I'm looking for A and B. So I start off with these two, cross multiply, and you get this line right here. And so I divide by sine 30, cross that out, put this into a calculator and get this. Then I take this one, and I set it up right here by cross multiplying, and divide by sine 30, put this into the calculator, and you get this.